Ahoy there, today on the Red Sea. Black Redditors. What's your most awkward racist moment? When I was 12, some girls on the bus home from school stole another girl's keys and blamed it on me. Being the mature 7th grader I was, I decided to go to the house of the girl who blamed it on me to confront her. Her mother answered the door and I tried explaining what happened. She told me to wait. So I did, and she came back to the door with a shotgun and said, "Don not you blame my daughter for your n**********. I took the hint and walked home, and have never mentioned it to my parents out of fear. I'm a white guy and my wife is black. A coworker I had not seen in years was making small talk by asking about the neighborhood I recently bought a house in. Him, are there any n******** RS over there? Me, well ... If you mean black people, there's at least one. In my house. My wife. Him, in a higher pitched sort of just learned an interesting new fact tone of voice. Oh, I did not know that. Me, yep, awkward. I'm Korean, but have lived in the USA my whole life. Do not have any trace of an accent. I was once driving through Texas in the winter and my lips were getting chapped. I stopped at a podunk gas station. Went inside to see two old guys inside that just stopped their conversation and stared at me. I said, "Where is the chapstick?" To which the employee immediately replied, "We ain't got no chopsticks round here." I slowly backed away and drove off very quickly. Me and my dad are driving from Florida to Kansas. We have been on the road for some time and we are tired of being cramped in the car. We're on the border between Tennessee and Kentucky. Out of nowhere we see blue and red lights behind us in the rearview mirror. It's kinda late, and so we both look at each other with that "oh duck" look. So the cop walks up to us and asks the usual. This is where malarkey hits the fan. In the most country voice you could imagine, the cop asks my dad, "So you're not from around here, are ya?" Boy. And I completely froze. I wasn't even sure I had heard that. I thought I did. I wanted to tell the cop to just run away. I was afraid for everyone in the situation. My dad just looks at him. Without any particular rush he unbuckles his seatbelt and gets out of the car. The whole time the cop doesn't say a thing. I'm thinking of calling somebody, but the cop's already there. When he's out of the car my dad finally asks what, in the coolest voice you could imagine. The cop doesn't answer, just stands there. Then finally he says, "Here you go," and hands back my dad's license and insurance cards. Another agonizingly long silence follows. Then finally the cop says, "I'll be right back." He goes back to his squad car and my dad gets back into the car. We just sit there in silence. I can feel the heat radiating off my dad. I've never felt so ashamed in my life. The cop comes back and hands my dad a ticket. "That will be all," and walks away. My dad looks at the ticket and it's a warning for speeding. The rest of the trip was completely awful thanks to that cop and one word. Boy. Walking along the mall in DC with my white girlfriend when we see a ton of police in riot gear lined up. Being curious we walked over and wanted to see what was up. Turns out there was a neo-Nazi demonstration at the Capitol. They see us and start saying stuff to her like, "Why are you with that monkey?" So we walk up right in front of the fence that's separating us from all the Nazis and start making out and rolling around on the ground, really getting into it. They started yelling slurs and whatnot towards us. Clearly they were mad. The police laughed and just let us continue. Probably one of the more awesome makeout sessions I have experienced. I'm a black man. I was at my job, working at a college, having a conversation with someone at one of the college's designated smoking hut. This blonde kid sits next to me, flips a penny at me, and says, "Dance monkey dance," and walks away. After breathing the fire out my lungs I dealt with it through the college, and he was suspended for a year. It was the greatest test of my patience. If I was not such a peaceful man, I'd kick some ass. Edit. For clarification based on comments below, it's a small school and I waited to hear his name from someone trying to get his attention at said smoking hut. The college only allows smoking at the hut so all nicotine fiends meet there. I do not think I'm being oversensitive / the punishment is too severe, as this all happened not too far away from Rutgers in the same year a young man took his own life after having his sexual identity become public fodder. If I was not the man I am, and I responded likewise, he would be looking at jail time. Also, he is going to bring that nonsense to his future workplace and lose a job. I told a group of African businessmen that I don't really care about the blacks. My work was hosting a group African businessmen, mostly from Nigeria, Ghana and Tanzania, if I remember correctly. They were there because their governments were buying our products en masse for their big cities and were getting major discounts, and so were visiting our headquarters. They were waiting in the lobby putting on their name tags as my colleague and I were walking back in after lunch. During lunch we were talking about whether I should buy a LCD or a plasma TV. I wanted LCD and my buddy kept insisting that I get a plasma. There were many points made on both sides like colors on each kind, contrast ratios, image burns, dead pixels and the color black. My buddy kept saying that you couldn't have true black colors on LCD, so plasma is better. I told him that I had never once in my life, while watching a movie, felt that the night wasn't dark enough or had any other complaints about the black color on screens. As we walked in, my exact words to him were, "I don't really care about the blacks." All the African guys stopped what they were doing and looked at me in stunned silence. I realized what they must think and tried to avert disaster by saying, "I'm sorry, we were talking about contrast ratios and black colors on LCD vs plasma screens and not about you people." That also didn't go over very well. Luckily my buddy went to them and apologized and cleared everything up. I still get malarkey for that at work. Well, I have two scarring ones from as a kid. The first one was when I was around 8, 10. I was going shopping with my mother to Costco, a realest place for a kid, when we were cut off by a dude in a pickup truck. Both my mom and the guy both start honking at each other. At the next light the dude pulls up to both of us and motions for me to roll down my window. Then he starts screaming at my mother saying, "You stupid N asterisk asterisk asterisk, I'll learn how to drive." And for the first time I heard my mother swearing, calling him a methodica. He then starts to tailgate us until my mom takes a random detour to get away. The second story to me was much more scarring, since I just got to the age where my mom would let me go to my friend's house by myself. So I was hanging out with my two friends. One was Latino and the other was Arab. So we decide to go to the Arab guy's house to listen to music and watch wrestling. When we get there, my Arab friend goes into his house to ask if we could come over. I see his mother look outside and then start berating him in Arabic. Knowing the little Arabic I know, I was able to understand what she was saying. She was basically saying, "Why would you bring this N asterisk 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 R and this Latino into our home?" I did not really get the rest. My Arab friend comes out sad saying we cannot come over because he was having family over, which was bull malarkey. The last one really messed me up as a kid, because from that point on I'd rarely go to friends' houses unless their parents were Somali or at least black, since I did not want to see the disgust on someone's parents' face because of my skin color. I did somewhat get over it, but from a lot of my experiences growing and seeing / dealing with amount of racism and intolerance has made me jaded and resentful. As an actually black person, I do not have a good awkward story, but I have a funny one. One day I was helping my dad film some stuff around North Texas. He needed to get a shot of Texas Motor Speedway, so we head up there. There was a race that day, but it was finishing up and everyone was heading home. We get in a spot to set up and he goes to his truck bed to set up the tripod. As I'm handing him equipment he says, "There's a lot of good old boys out here. I wonder how long before we hear the N-word." We make an over/under bet of 5 minutes, and 1 minute later some guys drove by and yelled N asterisk 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 S. We just looked at each other and laughed. Was like 10th grade, and I had a DBZ shirt on that had some Japanese characters in Korean. Kid behind me, "What's your shirt saying, Shinkish?" Me, "It says you're a bitch." Was not that awkward, but I wanted to slap him. I'm Hispanic and part black. I had a guy I liked tell me he liked my cute little N asterisk 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 R nose and hair. He was seriously being playful and flirty about it. What do you even say to that? Also, the best is when people act like they can just say racist stuff around me, since I'm not a real minority, and obviously they're not talking about me, and they just mean those other people. Again, how do you even react? It's so awkward and ridiculous. Edit. This malarkey takes a while to edit. If you are enjoying the video, like and subscribe if you have not done so yet. Back when I was in high school I pulled out a bottle of grape soda. One person saw it and started laughing and pointed me out to everyone else in the class. Soon the entire class was laughing. Damn you, Chappelle. Senior year of high school, I had just gotten a full scholarship to Howard U and of course, my relatives and I were overjoyed. I was at my mom's job one day afterward, a high school teacher, when she started to talk to another teacher. This other lady also had a child about to go to college, and she told my mom about his small soccer scholarship. My mom then told her about my scholarship. That lady was pissed. She started to go on and on about affirmative action. She knew nothing about my grades, but I guess she just assumed that they must be worse than her sons, and black people getting too many benefits in higher education. The kicker? Howard is an HBCU, meaning over 90% of the student population is black. If anything, My blackness was a hindrance. So I just sat there and listened to this lady rant about the unfair advantage it gotten because I obviously could never deserve a scholarship. So I let a friend, who happened to be black, white, borrow my car to pick someone up at the airport about 30 minutes away. It was malarkey weather out, but I had 4x for drive and it was a rather large truck. He ended up crashing the car and it was totaled, but he and his passenger were alright. The police call me and ask me if my car has been stolen and keep asking if I'm sure. I say I'll let my friend borrow it and they ask, "Sir, is your friend black?" I'm black and I was out at a bar with 2 white friends. These are close friends, so amongst each other we sometimes share racial jokes. For example, friend, man, it's dark here ... me, that's racist. We saw a table open up, 2 white girls were still sitting there, and they were cool with letting us join. Talking just with my own friends. We shared a joke like the example above. Here's where things get awkward with one girl. Girl 1 asks me if we work in IT. I say no and ask why. She says we dress like we work in it. I was kinda taken aback, but I let it slide and tried to make small talk with her. Girl 2 seemed much nicer, but claimed she did not really know #1. That #1 was just her husband's friend. A moment later, I got up to get a round of drinks, and as I sat down, girl 1 looks me hard in the eye and says, "So, where are your black friends?" I asked her to clarify if she was trying to make a joke or if my friends put her up to it, etc. She said no. I want to know where are your black friends. Not you have any? Girl 1 basically wanted me to prove/quantify my blackness and went so far as to say you do not act black enough. I do not think you're really black. You're probably Puerto Rican or something. I said to her, "Listen, bitch, I dealt with this malarkey in high school. People saying I'm not black enough, and there's no ducking way I'll take this from you." At this point, #2's husband joins the table and realizes what's going on. He explained he can totally relate to me dealing with this nonsense. Growing up conservative, Jewish in a more orthodox Jewish neighborhood, neighbor slashed his dad's tires after he drove on a Sabbath day, so he and girl 2 had a nice talk with me and my friends, all while girl 1 sat in silence, staring off somewhere, while I was up getting another round of drinks. Girl 1 said to my friends, "Your friend's offensive." They told her off again. As we were leaving and saying goodbyes, I gave girl 1 an intentional awkwardly long handshake, saying it was really nice meeting you. You have a wonderful night. To sum it up, drunk ditch questioned my blackness, reminded me of the blacker than thou malarkey I dealt with in high school. I happily told her off and made her the pariah of the table. My family moved to the south and I was transferred to a very white high school. Apparently their racist jokes were not uncommon and most people laughed at them. Anyway, first day of orchestra class I learned that there was going to be a concert coming up in 2 weeks. When I asked the conductor what their dress code was, she told me, all black. But that does not mean you come in naked. She casually laughed it off while I stood there with a "Are you serious" look on my face. Whoa, hey, take it easy, it is the end of the video. Do not worry, there are many more. Come aboard the ship for more trips. Like and subscribe for more posts from the Reddit Sea Cove. Thanks for watching.